unseen ones.
Yeah.
Because we work in dark spaces. So we basically, if you don't see the technical crew, you must know the show is running well.
Yeah.
When you start seeing technical crew and you start seeing people who are wearing black, you must know that hey, things are happening and
it's working. Good day, welcome to the live crew show. The live crew show, we visited the house of SARA, the SARA house. Today we have our guest, Abuti Tshiamo.
Hey, Abuti Tabo.
Lega Abuti Tshiamo.
Abuti.
Yes, sire. Give greetings to the Rasta man.
Sure.
Yes, Kaje Kurutlo Abuti Tshiamo. We'll be talking more about the Tshiamo. King Tshiamo.
Hey, Abuti.
How are you, King Tshiamo?
I'm well.
Well, King.
How are you?
You know, still surviving, you know.
Right.
Yes. Abuti Tshiamo, can you tell us more about you, you know? Who's Abuti Tshiamo?
In terms of, I'm thinking in terms of technical, in terms of Msebit.
Yes, yes.
There's a lot to talk about, so.
Yes. You can share.
Not enough time. But technically, started off as, I think we all started off just as music lovers. Yeah. Mostly people who are in the industry started off as music lovers because we didn't really know the things that, things like engineers, technicians, and all of those things. So we started off as music lovers, I can say that. And then we came and grew. Something Tshiamo cannot dlala music for I cannot DJ, you know. So it started off just the love of music into being hoplaka and then getting to know actually what happens in the behind the scenes.
Yes.
Because we are doing the behind the scenes situation. So yeah. So when we started to want to know what was happening behind the scenes, that's when you learn that there's departments, there's crews, there's people who actually make things happen before we get there. So that's where, because it's either Otloba DJ or Otlobina or Otloba band. So I couldn't do all three, but I wanted to be part of something in the industry. So the only way is to wear black and go behind the scenes. Yeah.
So sharp the meaning of Runavadi black.
Yeah, Runavadi black, important blind. Basically, we're the unseen ones. Because we work in dark spaces. So we basically, if you don't see the technical crew, you must know the show is running well.
Yeah.
When you start seeing technical crew and you start seeing people who are wearing black, you must know that things are happening and
it's working time now.
You know, so the black crew basically is supposed to be invisible. We're just there within the space, making things happen without people who came to enjoy, whether music, theater, festivals, whatever. Whoever came to enjoy whatever's happening does not notice that there's people who made it happen. So that's us. Yeah.
So Mr. Tshiamo.
Sure.
Is it very important to remove because the terms, the language. That's a technical language. Yeah. So for a person not is it at the scale for you or like a self-taught?
So nights, I can say both ways. They naturally gifted.
Yes.
They can be able to learn quickly. So you can put them into a situation where they need to learn and they can quickly learn. But there's certain technical terms and certain technical aspects Spanisarona.
Yeah.
Not only because of maybe the terms, the glossary used behind the scenes in terms of things that you have to use, your equipment. But I think most of all because of actually knowing the fundamentals. Why are you doing what you're doing? So somebody can say, go plug in something somewhere. But why are you plugging in that something somewhere? And what is it going to do if it works? And what is it going to do if it doesn't work? So I feel Scalar takes you a bit further, like this school, for instance, SARA technical school. So for me, it takes you a bit further in terms of being in the industry and being able to now navigate your way through different situations without having to always ask for help. Because now, if you know the theory behind whatever you're doing, it's easy for you
to move
and to be able to, hold your own in any situation. Because again, our industry is like any other technical industry where it moves in different spaces. So you can work more South Africa and you can work abroad. Like for instance, I think a month ago, the last World Cup, a whole bunch of technicians from South Africa were working in Qatar for not because, maybe because they were skilled, but mainly because of their work ethic, I think, to be able to navigate within spaces that other people would find difficult to navigate because you know the terms and the glossaries and you know the things. So that's why a whole bunch of technicians were sent over overseas.
So Tshiamo, the challenges that were behind the scene, like you guys for sound. The previous one we had an interview with some of sound guy and the DJ. Le thola yang utlo wena so plaka ba re sound I sale ba re DJ dlala leo track.
Sure. Well, I guess I want to know that's like it's two ways. You are now dealing with people, but also you are dealing with technical things. So you can't only be in a box or I naki this. That's why it had to always come back from the love of music. And problems they talk about in the industry a lot. Basically, I always try basically if you're in the technical industry, basically timamolo all the time so that most yadilo tseba to badi bona ba bone go le smooth, but wena uno timamolo in the back. Sure. So in most cases, I never can mention I know but there's a lot of things they troubleshooting. I mean, cable A1 that could mess up the show.
It passes the whole. You are Mr. Sound Engineer, Sound Tech.
So same like you. I've never, in most cases, most shows that I've done, especially big shows where there's lighting, you'll always find the lighting tech during the show somewhere on a truss trying to fix one fixture as a spanning. So there's always troubleshooting. They are the last people actually always on stage. That's why they wear that black, so that so that's why in most cases.
So Mr. T,
sure.
The show le di tshunang ba feto gona dipula go bata ona le di show wa utlwa re it's freezing bra but tshwantse o tshware truss so a kom child mfethu le survive yang for the healthy ntotse yalo because end of the day le batho.
Sure.
You guys are human beings.
Sure.
So let's take Wakula during the show.
Yeah, that's a difficult one. But like how cool? Well, okay. For example, in Yaukula during the show. But for instance, difficult working conditions. Any span, source spanner, most that need technical aspects, they work with it. It works with different, unless we say in a venue, and in-house venue, and a venue thing in a different. Some would say the layout to be able to navigate a shop, but in most cases, just like Lesole or any other like moto ahang or any other profession, has to go do their job no matter what circumstances.
Raining or not.
Just little. And also that's why when I started the interview, I went for it's love. Wabo. If you really love what you're doing, and it started off rato, and ultimately, even if a show is snowing, you love the show so much that you just want to make sure the show happens. Wabo. So yeah, working in difficult conditions, it has to come back to love. Wabo. When you really love the work that you do, it's easy for you to navigate different situations. You can work in cold, you can work in hot situations because you really love what you're doing. It's more difficult when you are thrown into something that you don't like and you have to do it because it's a job. That's where things get a bit more difficult. And you can see but to buy Spanish are technical because of Kispani. People who love the work and people who actually like just go in for the check. It's easy for you to see because the amount of effort and the amount of work ethic that the other one goes, it's a bit more, you know, towards creating perfection rather than just getting a paycheck.
So Mr. Tshiamo,
Sure.
tell me more about your gigs that you did. This from small gig to the large scale of gigs.
Well, after scale, after school, I could say I started after school. An arts hub in Joburg was mainly Newtown, where a lot of people would meet. Your artists, your sound engineers, your technicians, your lightings. So where most venues were, where most people could meet and liaise was Newtown. So most people that I met were in Newtown. So that's where the actual branching out of school into work started off. You were one of the first people I met at a venue I used to work with at Go Baseline. So that's one of the first venues straight out of school into the working scene, into doing shows, into running technical, you know, stage hands, doing rehearsals, those kind of things. So it starts from there, being trusted with the small things. And then yeah, it was like an exponential growth. Like then it was like from there I started doing a few shows, like live pop-up shows in a few restaurants here and there. And then I think it was 2016 or 15, I got the Opikopi booking.
Festival.
Yeah, so
the Opikopi.
Yeah, so for me that's when most of my learnings and most of my work ethic and most of my putting yourself now properly into festivals and how to properly run technicals of big festivals and shows started when we did Opikopi. And I was there, I think I was there until it closed. So that was until 2019. So 2015, yeah, for like 4 or 5 years.
Oh, nice.
So that was good. But within that, because that's once a year.
Yes.
So within that, because now people have now seen you've done a big festival, they can now trust you with the other small shows. You start growing. Then I opened a company, and then my company started getting festivals and shows. We even worked together in one. So that's when things started moving, and then, yeah, and then.
So when I want you to book the equipment, or to book Mr. Tshiamo to come and do a show for me, where can I get hold of you?
I can give you my number, but you can also get my email.
Yes.
You can get my email. There's a company email, there's a personal email, there's numbers. But in most cases, what I've noticed since I've been in this industry is that most work that I've done comes from reference. Yeah, either reference from people who have worked with you, or from people who have seen your work and liked it and they want your work for their own personal thing. So that's the biggest ways that I've gotten clients, in terms of reference from other people that you did a good job for. That's why there's this saying in the technical industry that you're as good as your last job.
Yes.
If your last job was very good,
Then
most people are gonna remember you for that, for the wonderful job that you did.
True.
So you're gonna be able to get more work from that. So most of my work comes from references from people that I've worked with before, or from people who have worked with me and can now reference me to other people. Yeah.
So Mr. Tshiamo, I can book you solo and I can come to your company. So
Yes,
in your
sir.
company, I get the whole package.
The
Or
company-
you just specialize
in the
with something.
In the company you get everything.
Oh, the whole
It's
package.
a technical production company,
Nice.
so we provide sound, stage, lighting, AV, the whole thing, technical crew. Me as personally, because I'm a sound engineer, I do private gigs, festivals, and I also do measurements. So acoustic measurements.
Yes.
for like most festivals, most big festivals and most venues that are in residential areas need sound engineers to calculate and figure out how is the sound range within the residential area so that
Yes.
they don't call the cops.
Yeah.
So we're one of the first people who are actually responsible to make sure that shows actually happen and job requirements are met.
Wow.
So those are some of the things I do privately
Wow,
on my
nice.
side. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Abuti Tshiamo.
Sure, with you.
Yes, man. I heard you are talking about the sound measure. So in the location, Kodikasi. So what's that? That's like, what was that?
Yeah. So as sound engineers, sometimes there's this work that you can get to. Actually, you don't have to always be on a mixer and on a console.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get booked out to a festival to just come measure the decibels of the PA that has been rigged for the day. So there's an actual device, a calibrated device. It has a microphone. It's an acoustic measurement device. You take measurements. So you basically go around the whole festival from front of house to the stage. You take the first measurement. Should I actually be giving this out? This is my work, but let me carry on because it's technical anyway in how you do it. You measure between the stage, between front of house and the stage. You do that measurement. Afterwards you go around the whole venue. You do measurements of that, how many decibels, and then you move outside of the venue to wherever the PA is facing. If it's a residential area, by the way, this is an area with people living around it. So and most venues are in residential areas.
Yes.
So you move out of the venue and you go to the first place, the first house, the first whatever space you found that is outside of wherever
venue.
the PA is faced. Venue, you go there, you measure whatever decibels you get in that space, and you measure all around that perimeter of the venue, right? And then you come back, you do measurements again inside, right? And then
That's engineering.
Yes, and then you go outside and then you do another perimeter measurement again. So you do about 2 or 3 perimeter measurements and 2 or 3 measurements inside. So now you have the average decibels of inside the venue and the
outside.
average decibels of outside the venue. So if a resident for instance calls and says you sound in rasa, it's too loud and we want to sleep and
It's 10 o'clock.
it's 10 o'clock,
Yeah.
but your gig has been jogged to maybe end at 12. You have permission for it to end at 12 and they're like, no, switch off, we want to sleep, whatever. Now you can go and show them the measurements that you've taken throughout the whole day. So you have to do this the whole day because sound travels differently in night and during the day.
Yes.
So you have to do this the whole day. And there's traffic during the day. There's hooters, there's what. So there's a lot of things that are happening during the day that are not happening at night. So you do all those measurements, and whoever's complaining, if there's a complaint, you can go to their house and measure what decibels the sound is outside their house. And there's a certain threshold that it can't be inside and a certain threshold that it can't be in the perimeter outside. So you can now make sure that a show can have that last 2 hours worth of carrying on, rather than a show being stopped, because we've seen shows being stopped by police and by jock officials, that the sound or the decibels is now bothering the people and the environment. So this is how you go and measure such. And where it really works out, where it's a must actually, is for when you're doing a gig in a venue like the zoo, Johannesburg Zoo, Pretoria Zoo, because there's animals around, there's certain decibels that you cannot reach as a PA or as a technical crew. So you must be able to measure which animals sometimes can be able to withstand which certain frequencies and not. So there's certain, that's why I say sometimes school is very important, but also being able to do the things in the field is important. But that's where now school comes in. That's where you're applying your school knowledge into the
working environment. Oh, nice. Nice. Thanks, man. Thanks, King. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to follow Mr. Tshiamo, Mr. Tshiamo will just drop the email address, phone numbers. Let's book Mr. Tshiamo. The knowledge is power, guys. The knowledge is power. So let's share the info. Mr. Tshiamo is around. Mr. Tshiamo, please drop us your email address or phone numbers.
So my email address is Tshiamo, Tshiamo Mosenyi. So it's Tshiamo Mosenyi, the number 8 @gmail.com. And my company email is Sound Proprietors. So it's sound like SOUND proprietors, POROPRIETORS @gmail.com. That's where you can get us, and my numbers are 078-429-3540.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, King Man. Nice one. Give thanks.